Most people think that abuse always starts with rage, right? Like with shouting or just obvious cruelty. But it doesn't. It usually starts with something that feels like literally the most beautiful thing that has ever happened to you. If you've ever felt completely seen and chosen by someone, only to watch the whole shebang fall apart in ways you still can't explain, well, today's explainer was made for you. We're going to completely demystify this incredibly confusing experience.
But hey, before we jump in, just a quick but gentle disclaimer. Everything we're covering today is based on real-life relationship patterns and established clinical psychology research. This explainer is strictly educational. It's not a diagnosis, and it's definitely not therapy. If anything we discuss feels, deeply personal or a bit heavy, please consider speaking with a licensed mental health professional. You absolutely deserve real support.
Okay, let's dive into this. What felt like a completely chaotic and random experience to you actually follows a highly predictable 4-part map in clinical psychology. We're going to cover the idealization phase, the devaluation phase, the discard phase, and finally, 4 steps to freedom. Let's walk through them. To start off, we really have to define what we're actually looking at here. Narcissistic abuse isn't just random bad behavior from a difficult person. No, it's a calculated, repetitive, clinical cycle of psychological manipulation. And the tricky part? Most people only recognize the abuse way late in the game, usually in stages 2 or 3, when the psychological damage is already super deep. That's exactly why, in this explainer, we're starting from the very beginning. The trap is set long before you even realize you're in one.
So, that brings us to stage 1, the idealization phase. Psychologists often refer to this intensely perfect feeling stage as love bombing. If you've ever experienced love bombing, you will never forget how it felt. It's this overwhelming display of attention. Every message is answered instantly. Every date feels like a movie, and they remember every single tiny detail you share. They might even call you their soulmate within weeks, or honestly, sometimes even days. They're making you feel like the absolute most special person alive.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the biological reality behind that movie-like romance. Every single time they give you that intense attention or that perfect compliment, your brain releases dopamine. It's exactly the same chemical release during gambling or when engaging in addictive behaviors. So you aren't actually falling in love with a person, you're falling in love with a feeling that they have very deliberately created inside you to build dependency. Let's ground this with a real-life example. Take the timeline for Sophia and Daniel. They met at a work conference on day 1. By week 2, Daniel was sending daily good morning texts. He remembered the name of her childhood dog, he brought her favorite flowers without being told. Wow. By month 1, he declared her the woman he'd been waiting for his whole life. Sophia thought she'd found true love, but in reality, she had just entered stage 1. But here's what nobody tells you. Stage 1 always ends, and when it does, we enter stage 2, the devaluation phase. This is where the person who made you feel like everything slowly begins to make you feel like nothing. This sudden shift introduces a psychological trap called intermittent reinforcement. They don't just become entirely cold. Actually, scratch that. That's what makes it so dangerous. Instead, they mix coldness with just enough warmth to keep you hoping that the stage 1 version of them is coming back. Your brain is working overtime chasing that unpredictable reward. So what happens? You apologize more, you shrink yourself down to fit what they want. And listen, it's a biological response to an unpredictable reward system. It is absolutely not a weakness on your part. And right alongside this comes the gaslighting. For Sophia, the change happened around month 3. The good morning texts just stopped. When she asked what was wrong, he called her needy. And when she brought up something he said that hurt her, he delivered this chilling, dismissive line. "I never said that. You always twist things." Suddenly, the very things they once praised about you become massive problems. Your confidence is suddenly called arrogance, your emotions are called drama. Because you remember the perfect love bombing phase so clearly, you actually begin to believe that you are the reason things changed. Look at Sophia. She literally started keeping a journal just to check her own memory, apologizing for things she hadn't even done, constantly asking herself, "What is wrong with me?" I need to pause right here and tell you firmly, you are not the reason things changed. You were never the reason. And just when you've completely rebuilt yourself, trying to make them happy, the sudden and painful 3rd stage arrives, the discard phase. This is when they exit, leaving you feeling entirely disposable and so incredibly confused. Sometimes they leave for someone new, or they simply withdraw all contact. But often, they use a cruel mechanic called hoovering, named literally after the vacuum cleaner.
This is a tactic where they suck you back in briefly with a burst of warmth, only to drop and discard you all over again.
To understand why they do this, you have to understand narcissistic supply. These personalities require continuous validation, attention, and emotional reactions from others just to function. When you no longer provide that supply at the level they need, or, when a new person offers them a fresh source, the discard happens. Hear this clearly. The discard is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their complete inability to sustain genuine emotional intimacy.
Going back to our timeline, Daniel didn't even formally break up with Sophia. He just disappeared entirely. A few weeks later, he reappeared, acting warm, then vanished again. By week 6, he was in a brand new relationship. And the most eye-opening part? He was giving his new partner the exact same good morning texts and the exact same flowers. Sophia did absolutely nothing wrong. She had simply run out of emotional supply for him.
But understanding this cycle doesn't just explain your past. It sets you free from it right now. So let's shift our focus to the solution with 4 steps to freedom. Here are 4 actionable steps you can literally take today. Step 1, name the cycle out loud. When you name it, you stop calling it love and start calling it a pattern. Step 2, stop searching for closure from them. They can't give you what they don't have. You've got to build your own closure. Step 3, use the gray rock method. Make yourself as uninteresting and emotionally flat as a gray rock. When you cut off their emotional supply, the cycle completely loses its power. And step 4, break the isolation. Reach out to one safe person, a friend, family member, or therapist, because this kind of abuse thrives in silence.
So the crucial point is, let's summarize the harsh reality of this cycle. Stage 1 hooks you with dopamine dependency. Stage 2 breaks you down with intermittent reinforcement and gaslighting. Stage 3 discards you when the supply runs dry. Understanding this structure cements one undeniable fact. None of this was ever about you. All of it was about them and their needs.
I want you to hear this and really let it sink in. You are not too sensitive and you're not too needy. You were chosen specifically for your kindness, your empathy, and your capacity to love. These are not weaknesses, they are your absolute greatest power. The right person will never use your strengths against you. If this explainer gave you a name for something you've been carrying, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an explainer that gives you the tools to protect your peace.
Now, I want to leave you with this provocative question. Now that you can clearly see the pattern, what boundaries will you build to protect your peace? I'd love for you to drop just one word in the comments describing how you felt watching this explainer today. And remember, if this resonated deeply with your own life, please reach out to a licensed professional for support. You don't have to carry this alone. Thanks so much for learning with me today.